What's up, guys? It's Shabazz again. I'm still getting used to doing this, so like again, bear with your boy, But I got a lot of stuff that I want to be able to discuss, with us. Because, again, knowledge is power. And there's a lot of information that's out there that we can have for ourselves, and we can just look at it and capture it. But sometimes, again, you got to know what you're looking at, to be able to understand it. But, I was looking at, there was a movie that I was watching, and it was talking about ancient Egypt. And I'm like, okay, what is ancient Egypt? It had to be something before it was ancient Egypt. So I went on Google, and I Googled, what is Egypt? What is the meaning of Egypt? And it had in parentheses, Hikuptah. And it explained that Egypt was a Greek name that the Greeks named after the actual meaning of Hikuptah. So Hikuptah translated into what is known as Egypt that we know today. But the original name was Hikuptah, and that is the meaning of that is the temple of Ptah. And Ptah was the high priest in the second golden age in what is known now as Egypt. So they had built Egypt and the temples and the pyramids, to honor him. So everybody came together to build these temples. And the way they built the pyramids is very interesting, because they used the pi system, the formula of pi that we learn in school, every day, even as kids, which is 3.14. But they never really explained what it made, because it makes pretty much a spiral, which is very interesting. Because if you look into that spiral that it makes, which is kind of like a basic spiral, and it just spirals in, But that's the endless spiral, that they call the golden spiral. And that is mimicking nature. That is nature. That is how all natural things come to be, And if you look at even a tree, and you examine, a tree, and you open it up, you'll see that it has that spiral inside of it. And we also do, too, as humans. We have the spiral as well, And that spiral exists in all of nature. And when they were when they actually made the temples and the pyramids, they used that formula, that system, because that system is pretty much mimicking nature. They was treating it like a organic thing that grew, something that was alive, So they started from the bottom and they built it up using that system. But I just think it's very interesting when you think about some of this history, because they didn't want to, when the new conquerors, came in, they started changing the names of things there, but they didn't want to give it its honor that it deserved there. So they still have it there, but they don't want to give it its honor that it is. So even when you look up Moses and you ask, and you even in Google right now, if you were to look up, show me the history of Moses in Egypt, they'll tell you that there is no existing history of Moses having anything documented in Egypt. So that tells you something itself, you know. And on top of that, you know, I love myth busting, you know. So, you know, I was watching this documentary called Out of Darkness. And this brother, man, I forgot what this brother's name was, man, but he made a beautiful movie, man. And I want to give him his respect. But he was a young brother there, you know. And I know his name, it just leaves my mind right now. But man, and if you see this movie, man, this is a beautiful movie. And this is kind of what got me started on kind of wanting to understand and dig into this stuff there too, by watching this movie. And it was a nice documentary that had all these brilliant brothers there that were professors and was getting that was deep into this knowledge and understood this stuff deeply. And I, you know, would ask any of you guys that want to know this stuff, start by watching those right there. They're right on Tubi right now. You can watch these right now. And I want to make sure I did give him his respect and his flowers, man. Because, again, he don't know what you have done, you know, just by giving us that knowledge there. That knowledge right there is beautiful for us to be able to examine for ourselves there. But I want to do my part there to be able to put what I've learned out by seeing this knowledge and seeing this information for myself. Because I seen some of those brothers. I seen, and he's like a teacher to me, you know. All these brothers are, man. But Browner, Mr. Smalls there, Professor Smalls, Professor, oh yeah, God, I can't think of his name, but there, he's brilliant, man. You know. But again, I thank you guys for what you guys have done there, everybody, and what you guys, you know, have tried to put out there for us to examine. And we need to be able to really look at this stuff here and understand it, because it tells us a lot, you know, and what we need to really understand. And with this information, it lets us know a lot of information on what we need to understand. Is that in history, you know, people who are the conquerors are going to tell their story. They're going to tell his story, you know. But you got to be able to know and go beyond that to understand what your story may be, you know. So I've always kind of yearned to understand, you know, what was really going on, you know, because I always kind of had, you know, a fear, you know, in a way, and not, you know, not just a fear, but I was trying to understand, why didn't we have anything for ourselves as blacks, you know. And I hate to even bring up my mom there, but my mom, you know, as beautiful as a woman she was, as she is, you know, she, you know, when we was kids, I noticed, you know, when we were, you know, around ourselves there, she talked and she was, you know, her own way there. She just would be herself. But when she got around, you know, white folks, you know, I'll just put it out there straight up. When she got around white folks, and this is in the 80s, you know, she would change her tone. She would change how she spoke, you know, and she was kind of straighten up a little bit and try to talk how they would talk, you know. And I was like, and I looked at this, you know, and I'm like, did she have to do this? Why does she do this? Why don't she just talk how she would talk when she's around us? And so I always kind of yearned for, try to understand this, you know. And I always wondered why all the people in the Bible were always white, you know. Why couldn't they have some black folks in there? And I know that's kind of funny, but it's true. You know, you think about these things. You want to see yourself, you know, when it comes to these things. You want to see yourself in it. You know, and it's just sad that we couldn't see ourselves in a lot of these beautiful things there, but we are there, you know, and it all started from us, and we got to understand that. That's why all this stuff is so important. It's not just important to me. It's important to all of us to really be able to see it, and we don't even understand how important it is, because we've been so stuck in this world that we've been living in, you know, and we don't understand the importance of us being able to tell our story and to be in that story and to have people that's in that story that was powerful. And we were the ones who actually put all this stuff actually together for them to be able to tell the story that they've told, you know. So bear with me, man. I got a lot of stuff that I want to be able to explain to us, you know, from my side and with my aspect and my perspective of it. So let me get in my zone there. It takes me a little bit of time to warm up, you know, but once I get going, you know, it's on. So again, I'm gonna take, you know, my time with all of this, but I'm gonna put me at some chapters together to really get all this stuff together, so we can really have something to examine, you know, for ourselves there, with our own little perspective of it, and from your boy's perspective of it. And I'm gonna tell it to where we can understand it, you know, and it can be understood. And we're gonna understand it anyway there, but we just have to see it. And once we do see it, and once we hear it, it's gonna be like a trumpet, like my brother, you know, Elijah Muhammad used to say. He wants to, you know, he had that trumpet, you know, in the back of the Muhammad Speaks, you know, and he always had the trumpet in the back of the page there to let you know that he wants to be that trumpet. I want to be a trumpet too for us. I want to be a lion for us to be able to see, and to be able to open up a door and a window in your mind to be able to really empower you, you know, because we have a lot of power inside of us. And just with that power and that confidence that we have there, just for ourselves there, to be able to know a little bit more about our history and to see ourselves more in our history, it's going to give you some confidence, you know, and you're going to be able to stand up a little bit more taller for yourself, you know. But again, we're going to get into it, you know. Hikuptah, that's the original name of, you know, what we call Egypt. But before that, it was known as Kemet. And Kemet was, you know, it was deep, man. Like I said, it gets real deep. Kemet was where everything started. But I'll get back into this, y'all. Bear with your boy. Y'all take care.